Okay, real quick, made 3 trades this morning and made a profit. So the market right here is taking a little bit of a dip, and we can see that it dipped down below the supports that it had yesterday, I guess it was. No, actually, it was over, the last 2 days. So this day and then that day, it had a big drop. Yesterday, it had the CPI report and it went way, way up, and then it started to drop again, and it's been kind of dropping since then. We are kind of sitting at a support. However, we did have kind of a wick going on right here on the 1-hour chart that dropped down to the next support line, which is what we see right here. And that kind of a major drop shows me that there's a lot of bears out there that are not really sure that the market is going up anymore. So even though it's been very much uptrending the last few months, I think that there is a lot of concern that it's going to drop right now. And so anyway, between that and looking at the shorter term charts, when we have the MACDs kind of pointing down, kind of more leaning more towards doing shorts today. So I waited for it to go up and look like it had peaked out, and then I got into a short as soon as I saw an opportunity right here. Now, the only bad thing about this trade is that the MACD is super low on the short-term chart. So when I got into this trade, I suspected that it might be done. I mean, you can see it kind of peaked out at that orange SMA up here for quite a while. That's kind of acting as a support. It made a valiant effort to get above it right here, but it didn't really succeed, and then immediately dropped. So even if it does go up, I'm not too worried about it, and there is the potential for it going up. But, nothing's ever a sure thing in the market. So I got into a short knowing that it would eventually drop, and put in my order down here, and that would be about a $200 trade right there if it did fill. And this is what happened. It kind of went up to the next level, and then let's see, this is 9:12, so the opening bell still hasn't quite happened yet. Made a nice big drop right there, and I'm still hanging on. The good thing about it going up like that is that the MACD has now gained some height, and it has more room to drop now. So that's one good thing anyway. I put in kind of a price trend line thing going on here, and it looks like, that's in a decent spot where my order is on this chart anyway. On the 15-minute chart, not so much, but it seems like that might be a good place for it to go. And it looks like the green candle here has not recovered very much, and it looks like it's going to drop. The MACD is now turned, and I am basically at break even right here. I do think it's very likely that it could drop at this point. But then it bounced again and gained a little bit more height on the MACD. Still not too worried about it yet. It went up to another height right over here, and still not too worried about it yet because it hit on the 5-minute chart here. It hit a resistance level where that yellow line is. So the fact that it didn't get above that, I'm still hanging on to this short. I'm not too worried about it at this point. I didn't put in a stop because it is downtrending pretty clearly. All right, so got another red candle and then a nice big drop. And this is 3 minutes after the opening bell. So as soon as the opening bell happened, we had a big drop, and that's actually very encouraging as well, because the most traders are kind of agreeing with me that it is going to be dropping. How far, we don't know. All right, so we kind of fluctuated, went up, hit the resistance level, dropped again, and just kept hanging on to this one spot right through here, and it just was struggling to get below that. So I was getting a little frustrated. It's 9:40. I've hung on to this trade now for almost an hour and waiting for it to fill. It was just really slow moving this morning, and it's just, I don't know, it's just really struggling. So kind of lost a little patience and decided, now maybe I'm just going to go for a little bit smaller trade, and it brought this up to the $100 mark. So this would be a $100 trade right here, and it is like a tick or two below the lows that you've seen right through here. So it's still maybe a little bit high, or a little bit too greedy, I should say, or a little bit low, too big of a trade, I should say. So we'll see. it did go up one more time and then started to come down. I raised it up. Nope, it's still right where I left it. Okay. So then it started to drop. And that's when I raised it up. And it's like, forget this. It's just really struggling to drop. And I was a little concerned that maybe we were seeing a curve and it might get up to the blue line. And I really didn't want to hang on to it that far. So I put in my limit order just one tick below where I'd gotten in. So basically I'm covering my commissions. I'm not going to make any money on this trade. I do think the likelihood of it dropping down one more time at least is really good, if it doesn't drop down even further than that. So it dropped down to that, and I didn't catch the next slide, but I got out at a $12 profit, and then it dropped below that shelf that it had kind of formed. And so when it had a nice big green candle, I got into another short, because now all of a sudden things have kind of changed and we can see it's definitely losing momentum at this point. So I didn't quite catch my slide in time, but I got a short in like right here at this second red candle. And the MACD is just now turning and dropping. So I've got my exit order in down here. I think it's all looking good. It dropped down there and I filled. So I'm now at 137 and it is definitely looking like, yeah, it's dropping. It's just fighting against it pretty hard, and we're seeing some big recovery candles, but each one is just a little bit lower than the last. So I think we're still in good shape. Just need to wait for it to go up and then get into another short. Went up this far and started to drop again. So I put in a short order right there. Very glad that I did, because I put in an exit order right about that orange line and got filled there, made another little bit, 125 I think it was. And so that's 3 trades, and they were all good. This is just the transfer from yesterday, so that doesn't really count. So anyway, 3 trades, and I ended up making $240 and ended at 10:09. So thanks for joining me.